Hi everyone, Josh with Talk About Trek here, and today we're back to talk about a Star Trek TNG novel that I just finished today, A Call to Darkness. So as you can see here, this is a novel featuring Worf, Dr. Pulaski, and Geordi LaForge. And as it says here, Captain Picard is trapped on a brutal world where war is the only entertainment. So just finished this up today, so I thought I'd sit down and kind of give you my thoughts about the book. As always, let's start by just talking about what we see here. This is the new novel by Michael Jan Friedman, who I know does pop up a few more times. I've seen his name on the bookshelf there, so he continued to write some more books for the next generation, it looks like. So let's see what this is about. A Call to Darkness. The Enterprise discovers a lifeless Federation research vessel orbiting a planet hidden behind a mysterious energy shield. Over the strong objections of his senior officers, Captain Picard and an away team beam over in search of the missing crew and vanish. But soon, his captain's disappearance is not the only problem facing Commander Riker, for a mysterious disease has begun ravaging the Enterprise crew. Now Riker must unravel the secrets of the planet below in order to rescue Picard and prevent the starship's destruction. Whoa. So if that doesn't hook you into it, I don't know what else will. So we'll kind of talk about the novel, and I won't give away too much about the end. And then we'll have like a spoiler zone after that. So as it says on the back cover, they've been summoned to search for the missing science research vessel, the Gregor Mendel. And this has a kind of personal connection for Picard, because the daughter of one of his mentors is aboard this ship. So for him, this is a very personal mission. So as soon as they do find it, he of course wants to beam over himself, against the wishes of our employee of the month here, and investigate for himself. And of course, what happens? Himself, Pulaski, Worf, and Geordi are all mysteriously whisked away. And then I'm getting ahead of myself. So the planet here that they are at is called Akla, and it's inhabited by a species called the Kla Kimbri. And the Kla Kimbri were once like a warlike species, and they expanded their territory beyond their planet, and then they got too far, and they ran into somebody who was a lot more advanced than them. And they basically put them back into their place and kind of slapped them back down, and return them right back to their home planet here, this Akla. So now these Kla Kimbri, who were once very powerful, very warlike, are kind of slapped back down. They just have their own planet back. So they've turned to a different form of entertainment and I guess power, without getting into too much now. So, the away team is kidnapped. Riker tries to contact the planet, what's going on, what's happening, and they deny everything, and then they put their little shield back up over their planet, and they're not talking. Now, meanwhile, because we need to have like a ticking clock, of course, on the Enterprise, there is this unknown disease spreading. So, good current for our times, of course. So that was apt. But so it gives you this kind of ticking clock. So you got this problem on the planet, you've got this problem on the Enterprise. They've got a short amount of time to figure this all out. So the story on the planet picks up with Picard, Worf, Pulaski, and Geordi basically all awakening without their memories, each in a different role on the planet, kind of akin to what they're good at doing. So they wake up, they have no memories, and they each have to kind of work through what they're doing. And one of the great shining points of this story is kind of how their characters shine through, even though they don't know who they are. So, what I really think about this book is that it's awesome. Because what it does is it gives you kind of like a wipe the slate clean. And it really, I think the main feature on it is Worf. And I guess if you were to say, like, who is the star of this novel, it's going to have to be Worf. Because the main story follows him mostly, and kind of his dilemma inside his mind of being a Klingon, someone who's naturally warlike, but who's grown up in Starfleet, with these kind of core set of values, not killing, of that being the last resort. So that's kind of one of the overarching themes of this book. I think is just seeing all of these characters kind of shine through, despite losing their memory. So for me, as always, I'm going to give this a high mark. This is a 9 out of 10 book for me. And pick this up if you have a chance. Pick it up at the bookseller for $1. Look at that. You probably can't do that though. But now from here on out, I will just continue to rant about the book, and I will spoil parts of it. And so if you don't want to be spoiled, just stop it here and then pick up the book yourself and read it, because it is a really fun read. And if you're a fan of Worf, then I think you're really going to get a kick out of this. All right, so now we'll just kind of dive into everything else. So, wow, this was cool. So it kind of gives you an idea of just a way that people can be subjugated, the people of this planet, basically there are like 3 factions of this planet. There's like the ruling class, there's the military, and then there's everybody else. And so what this planet is doing is they are kidnapping people from other ships and then removing all their memories and putting them into like medieval armor with axes, broadswords, and maces, and just having them fight these mock battles all over the planet. And of course they televise this to everybody. And then this televised conflict, they call them the conflicts, kind of fulfills the need of this society, so that the working class just keeps on working and just keeps on watching their conflicts after they go to work. The military class keeps things in order, and the ruling class just keeps on, living as they've always wanted to live. So it's just a really a cool way to look at a planet. And what's always neat about these novels, I guess, is that every time you get to visit a different planet and you get this writer's own take and his own story on how things came up. And this one just I thought was really interesting. Again, the things that shine through for me in the book were that even though that they had lost their memories, each of them would always shine through with like core values. So to give you an example, Picard, he was assigned to basically be like a convoy leader after he lost his memories. And naturally, and he was kind of a minor character in this, naturally throughout the story, he had these little moments where he was showing, his true nature as a leader, as someone who works to protect people, to save people. And it worked the same for Pulaski, who was assigned to like the medical tent. And, she was shining through as someone who didn't want to, basically who wouldn't stand for having her patients interfered with, irregardless of what these masters were saying. Geordi, he was assigned to being a builder and, did a great job of building, but then when he saw that the bridge that he was building was being used to transport these prisoners over, he couldn't stand for it anymore. And then he felt that he had to do something. And of course, the prisoner he rescued ended up being Picard. It all ties together in these books. But coming back to Worf, it all comes back to Worf. These last 2 books I've read, really good Worf stuff. His story was the best because he lost his memory. He was put in the place of being a warrior, and he was basically assigned to given armor, given a mace, and to go kill. And for him, that felt right. He's a Klingon. He wants to go do that. That sounds good, right? But whenever it came time for him to finish an opponent, he couldn't do it, because his core values that he learned from being in Starfleet, shined through. And he thought that was some kind of failing that he had, without having his memories of knowing why that was. But really, that was just his true self, coming through. And I think that was one of the coolest parts of the novel, was just, and I think mainly featured in this, and I think that was kind of the point. And that's why he's front and center there. But really, really, really good. Lots of things that I didn't mention in this. Data has a great part in this. There's a whole part with some people on the planet that are rebelling against this system. But I just hit 10 minutes, and that's a long time to talk about this book. But it's been fun, and if you like Star Trek and you like Worf, then you should read this book. So, hey, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. That was novel number 9, and I'm actually super excited to move on to novel number 10, A Rock in a Hard Place by Peter David. And this is actually one of the ones that I remember reading when I was 10 or 11 and 12, and I always remembered really liking it. I don't remember the story, except for Riker was stuck on some kind of frozen planet, and it was awesome. So this is what's coming up next, and if I like it as much as I remembered, I'm going to burn through this pretty quick, and we'll have a new video up right away. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Live long and prosper, and we'll see you next time. Bye.